Muchas gracias a la doctora Piñeiro por su interesantísima exposición. Ya estamos entrando en calor en esta sesión, por lo tanto vamos a continuar con la tercera conferencia del panel. Le pido al doctor Roger Bont que nos acompañe acá en el escenario, por favor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Dear audience.
Okay. Buenos días. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Okay. Okay, I am delighted to be here. I will be speaking tomorrow on behalf of Roger Bont. Today I'm speaking on behalf of Yves Ray. Yves is the chair of the GFSI board. He is stuck in Paris. He indicates that he lives in a country of public servants who do not understand the word service. There is a airstrike by the pilots of Air France, so that's why Yves is not here. Lydia knows that I know how to spell GFSI, so she tapped me on the shoulder and asked me if I would be willing to give Yves' presentation. So with that, delighted to be here. I am very active on technical working groups within GFSI, so I do know a fair amount about GFSI, so I will do Yves' presentation. Eating has never been and never will be simply satisfying the physical need for calories for an active lifestyle. Food touches everything important to people. Food fuels life, good nutrition, fuels healthy living, and on top of that, food is culture and tradition, like here in Peru. Food is pleasure, food is socialization, food health and emotion are closely intertwined. Beyond that, access to available and affordable safe food is freedom. It's a fundamental requirement for public health and paramount for business sustainability and profitability. These are the topics that I would like to talk about today. First, I'd like to give you a global viewpoint. I'd like to also talk about the need for food safety collaboration, speak to how we need to join the pieces of food safety across the world. I'd also like to ensure you understand the food safety vision, mission, and objectives. Also speak to the governance within GFSI, the benefits, and capacity building. Then I want to give you some future views of GFSI's next steps and upcoming meetings, and then I'll wrap up the session. First off, it's very obvious that in modern trade, food safety is a joint responsibility of everyone in the food chain, and it requires everyone's combined efforts. As you know, food safety hazards in the food at the point of consumption may be introduced at any point within the food chain. One weak link can cause unsafe food that is dangerous to health, and when this happens, the hazards to consumers can cause very serious illness and can be very costly. Our supply chain is as strong as the weakest link. Moreover, in the modern food supply chain that stretches across the world, food rapidly moves across countries and between continents. Some of our earlier speakers have spoken to that. Food trade knows no barrier, nor do food hazards. To emphasize this point, let me give you an example. Have you ever wondered what a pizza is made of? Pizza. There are 4 basic ingredients: the crust, the sauce, cheese, and the toppings. But if you really dig in, the ingredient list is astonishing. There are 62 different ingredients. If you look further, these ingredients are supplied from 12 different countries. And the important part is food contamination that originates in one part of the world is distributed widely and may cause illness in a number of people in great distances from the source. So, certainly you've heard that the global population is expected to increase to 9 or 10 billion by the year 2015 from the current 7 billion. Because many people are malnutrition today, it will be necessary to increase the levels of food production more than proportional to population growth. This means that the global food supply will need to double or triple in a safe and sustainable way on the planet with limited farmland, fresh water, and competition for biofuels. It's generally accepted that consumers expect food safety is a given. Nevertheless, on an annual basis, contaminated food and water cause 2 billion illnesses, a third of the global population and roughly 1.8 million lives. Most of these deaths occur in less developed countries, and 84% are children. That amounts to a tsunami twice a month, just to put it in perspective. Each time there is a food safety issue somewhere in the world, in addition to the human tragedy, it erodes consumers' trust and affects sales, profitability, and business growth in the wider food business and can negatively impact total economies and even confidence in a country. There's a number of growing challenges: population growth, global food systems, emerging pathogens, aging population is another one, and certainly social media. All of these challenges are challenges for food safety, and food safety is at a decision point. Over the 21st century, food safety requires greater collaboration. For countries, protecting public health leads to increased development and reduced healthcare costs, or that was for countries. For companies, ensuring consumer trust and confidence are paramount for sustainability. That's the reason why food safety stakeholders are even more reliant on each other than ever before. All stakeholders need to have a bigger conversation about food safety today. Food safety is a shared responsibility. There are many parts of that where others have accountability. Today, it is even more, it requires for all stakeholders to combine efforts, resources, and knowledge toward a shared vision of food safety with more united actions. These days, food safety extends beyond any one company or country. It's a shared responsibility that includes government agencies, food-related companies, and consumers. Let's take a look at this slide. It looks complex, but global to food safety governance in the modern trade is rather complex. In the middle of the slide, from left to right, you have the food chain from farm to table. In the upper part, from left to right, you have science-based standard settings that enable governments to determine the presence of contaminants that may damage public health. Without science, sound science, affordable food is not possible. In the lower part, from left to right, you have the business-driven initiatives that help protect consumer health through food safety management systems. If we zoom in on the upper part of this slide, there's some more detail. The science-based standards, as specified by Codex, as we heard earlier, directly applied or potentially amended in applicable country regulations, provide practical approaches to importing and exporting foods and ingredients, carrying out laboratory product testing, and conducting inspections. Let's move to the lower part of the slide. This slide will show you the connections, critical connections for food safety management from Codex guidelines, ISO voluntary standards, and measures to business-driven solutions, accreditation and certification, connection, and this is the connection in which GFSI plays an instrumental role in benchmarking codes of practice to determine equivalency between food safety schemes. Nowadays, the debate has focused on the relationship between government enforcement and business-driven solutions. Today, private standards are becoming the accepted industry norm. They are sometimes perceived as a barrier to trade, but quite the opposite. I strongly believe that they are the opportunity for business to grow and develop through market access. Food safety regulations and the perception of risk may vary among countries. However, the link between global trade and food safety goals requires public and private partnerships through government policies and supervision and private investment support and self-discipline. Perhaps you've seen a Russian nesting doll. My wife happens to have a foreign doll collection. And the demand for safe food against a background of increasing international trade requires worldwide harmonization, equivalence, and convergence. The Russian nesting doll illustrates that point. As our earlier speakers talked about Codex, local laws, and then food safety surveillance, and then the result ends up with safe food. Here's another example, Codex, standards, local laws, ISO 22000, which then leads into GFSI recognized audit schemes. I'd like to touch now on, more specifically to GFSI, Global Food Safety Initiative. And the vision, a challenging one, actually is safe and sustainable food for consumers everywhere. And to do so, we must create an enabling environment for driving continuous improvement in food safety systems with the aim of ensuring the delivery of safe food to consumers worldwide. Moreover, this must be done while managing costs to make the food available and affordable for social-economic consumer groups worldwide from the bottom to the top of the consumer pyramid. GFSI objectives are based on three generic activities: connect, protect, and manage costs. This slide demonstrates the GFSI governance structure. We can see how it works. There's a board of directors who is responsible for developing and implementing the strategy. As you can see, the board has a lot of parity. It includes retailers and manufacturers. It also includes food safety organizations such as Yum and McDonald's. There are currently 18 board members. Yves Ray is the chairman. He's the gentleman who was intending on giving this presentation. Frank Yanis with Walmart is one of the vice chairs, and Cirque Guan from Aeon in Japan is also one of the vice chairs. There is also a technical committee who works under specific mandates from the board. It's made up of 175 experts from different sectors grouped into multiple technical groups. I've been a part of various technical working groups, as well as I know some of you in the audience have participated as well. And we make up the 175 experts that help build the different benchmarks. We do the benchmarking, we create additional guidance documents, and various other activities. There's a lot of benefits of using GFSI, both to the food system, to consumers, as well as to governments. The GFSI strategy for 2012 through 2014 is really driven by the stakeholders, people like you and I, who come to the annual meeting and provide input into the GFSI strategy. There are 4 key strategic priorities and a critical action plan that have been identified to support the delivery of these key objectives. Auditor competence across the world is critical to the success of our mission. GFSI has developed an integrity program that outlines the minimum level of knowledge and skills needed to effectively conduct audits, as well as a mechanism for the acquisition and assessment of these competencies. Food safety excellence and effectiveness require people with the right food safety knowledge and expertise, and most important, with the right food safety culture and behavior. The next objective is geographic expansion. GFSI already is a global organization, but beyond countries in which GFSI awareness is high, such as in Europe, North America, and Japan, there are still countries in which GFSI can be developed further. Some examples are China, India, Brazil, Russia. And given some of my conversations earlier today with some of the participants, I'm glad you are here to learn more about GFSI, and in tomorrow's session we'll go into more detail. GFSI will develop targeted plans and provide support to companies, governments, and associations throughout the world. We will do it through education of capacity building and awareness efforts, which leads to the next objective, capacity building. The GFSI Global Market Program for less developed suppliers in developing markets has been designed to contribute to this objective. Its training program in 3 steps that can help small suppliers to be certified against one of the GFSI recognized schemes. And in my talk tomorrow, I'll go into a lot more detail on the Global Markets Program. Private and public partnership. One of our earlier speakers talked about that, and countries and companies are sharing the same goal: safe food for different objectives. For government, food safety is fundamental prerequisite for social and political stability. Country economy, reputation, and public health. And for companies, food safety is paramount for consumers' trust, business sustainability, and profitability. So we must work hand in hand. The ultimate goals are as many as possible small, less developed, and large businesses throughout the world certified against GFSI benchmark schemes by auditors with accredited competencies who have the right skills, knowledge, and attributes to conduct an audit. If needed, companies can be accompanied in their journey toward certification with the GFSI Global Markets Program. Insofar as it's possible, certification recognized and accepted by public authorities. I wanted to talk a little bit about the value of GFSI. And there's some metrics, and I'd like to share some cost savings, efficiencies, and improvements in the GFSI activities. Some of the examples, Walmart has done some studies by the University of Arkansas that shows there's a 31% reduction in product recalls by Walmart. Metro, a European retailer, has seen a 90% decrease in recalls in Germany. Migros has seen a reduction in audits by 50%. The company that I work for, Cargill, has seen about $5 million per year in reduced audit costs so far, and we estimate about $15 million a year throughout our 1,200 facilities across the world. Danone, where Yves Ray works, has also seen a significant increase in the redundant audits by going with GFSI audits. GFSI has managed to bridge the gap between public and private sectors to manage food safety more efficiently and effectively. And I wanted to share 3 different examples. In the United States, there's a Food Safety Modernization Act that the rules are currently being reviewed, but we have a belief that the United States government will adopt and accept private certifications for imported products, as well as consider the private audits for domestic products as well. In China, there's a memorandum of understanding between 2 key organizations that now are, one is part of the board of directors within GFSI, and there's a higher level of understanding within China. I'm also proud to talk about a pilot program that Cargill has with the Netherlands government, where they are accepting our GFSI recognized audit schemes that we have conducted in our plants, and where we have demonstrated low nonconformances and very good audit scores, they have accepted those audits in lieu of their inspections. So, looking to the future, perhaps some of you were in Santiago on, actually that's my birthday, May 9th. You were in Santiago on my birthday for a GFSI Focus Days. These are events that are held around the world. There's one coming up at the end of the month in Tokyo. I'm going to be at the one in New Delhi in December. And the events aim to provide food safety experts in countries around the world with an opportunity to learn more about the Global Food Safety Initiative, and also serves as a unique opportunity for networking and knowledge exchange. The questions that are asked during the course of the day are, what is GFSI? What are the benefits of implementing the GFSI approach? What are the GFSI recognized schemes? What is the process to comply with GFSI guidelines? Is it accessible to small producers and manufacturers? How can we achieve the motto, once certified, accepted everywhere? And what does that mean? And how can GFSI help me boost my business? And how do the case studies showcase the benefits of GFSI? As you'll note, there's a annual meeting, and this year's meeting is in Barcelona, Spain. And we're expected to see over 950 senior food safety experts from around the world. It's a 3-day meeting. The technical working groups also hold one of their 2-day meetings in conjunction with it. To get more information, there's various websites. My GFSI is an easy one to remember. There's a wealth of information in there, including information on the Global Markets Program. And I see the word FIN. I understand what that means. I have one more slide. In summary, here are the key points that I'd like you to take away from my presentation today. We, and that means all of us, government, academia, non-government organizations, private concerns, we must work together as the globe needs continue to increase. Food safety improvements are critical. GFSI's model can bring the pieces together. We truly believe that. And GFSI's global market program can help small and less developed companies. And my recommendation to you is learn more about GFSI and get involved in GFSI. Muchas gracias.
Tenemos un set de preguntas. Por razones de tiempo voy a pedirles a los expositores, a los panelistas, que puedan calcular más o menos un tiempo de entre 2 minutos aproximadamente por respuesta. Vamos a tratar de hacer 3 rondas de preguntas y luego de eso pasar al sondeo de opinión, a la primera y segunda pregunta del sondeo de opinión que tenemos preparado para este panel. La primera pregunta va dirigida al doctor Carlos Caballero y se refiere a lo siguiente. En términos de la rastreabilidad a productos primarios, ¿existe alguna visión a futuro para la rastreabilidad hasta productos primarios, frutas y verduras, en el consumo interno, por ejemplo, residuos, plaguicidas, etcétera?
Sí, ¿está activado? ¿Me escuchan? Sí. Bien. El año pasado, el SENASA, con una operación de crédito financiada con el Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo, realizó por primera vez en el Perú un programa oficial de monitoreo de residuos de plaguicidas, medicamentos veterinarios y metales pesados en una serie de alimentos de origen animal y vegetal en 10 zonas del Perú. Este es un programa que se va a convertir en una acción permanente este año. Estamos incluyendo contaminantes microbiológicos, ampliando el número de matrices, pero siempre en 10 zonas, para que a partir del 2013 y en adelante podamos incluir más regiones del Perú y podamos, a través de este plan de monitoreo, saber pues, cómo está el nivel de contaminación de los alimentos agropecuarios de producción y procesamiento primario. Los resultados de los planes de monitoreo se están colgando en la página web de SENASA, a la cual pueden ustedes acceder. Y respecto a la rastreabilidad, dentro del procedimiento ya específico, el Reglamento Sectorial de Inocuidad Agroalimentaria para los alimentos agropecuarios, todos los procesadores primarios de alimentos agropecuarios primarios tienen que requerir una autorización sanitaria de SENASA para poder procesar estos alimentos. Y a cada uno se les asigna un código de rastreabilidad para que a través de un software que estamos diseñando se pueda tener todo el historial de cada uno de los procesadores, ¿no? El cual va a ser también de fácil acceso para las autoridades sanitarias de los países de destino de nuestras agroexportaciones.
Muchas gracias. La siguiente pregunta va dirigida a la doctora Maya Piñeiro y tiene relación con lo siguiente. Habla usted de control del riesgo y las bondades del Códex, pero ¿cómo trabaja la FAO el tema de los alimentos?
Bueno, el Códex, FAO y la OMS son la Secretaría Técnica del Códex. Entonces, el Códex es un aspecto de la tarea que hace la FAO. La FAO es la Agencia de las Naciones Unidas para la Agricultura y la Alimentación. Naciones Unidas tiene muchas agencias especializadas. En este caso, la FAO es la de Alimentación y Agricultura. Entonces hay muchísimas divisiones y muchísimos programas que trabajan con el tema. El tema de alimentos está básicamente en la división en la que yo trabajé muchísimos años y ahí es donde está el Códex para la parte normativa. Después está la parte de asistencia técnica, que es la que yo dirigía, donde se hacen proyectos de asistencia técnica a los países en vía de desarrollo en muchísimos temas que tienen que ver con alimentos, desde precisamente estos sistemas nacionales de Inocuidad de Alimentos, trabajamos con todos los países de la región por focalizar en esta región, en ayudarlos a establecer el sistema de control, fortalecer, capacitar muchísimos proyectos de asistencia en diseñar la política de alimentos de inocuidad de los países. Hay cantidad también de proyectos de ayudarlos a crear los comités nacionales del Códex para que puedan ir al Códex. Hay muchos proyectos de capacitación en análisis de riesgo, cómo hacer las evaluaciones. Todo lo que tiene que ver con asistencia técnica es una de las áreas que tiene FAO en el tema inocuidad. El otro es la parte normativa del Códex y el otro es la parte de evaluación de riesgos. Se coordinan todos los comités de expertos de evaluación de riesgos de donde sale todas las consultas que llegan a UNIDA, por ejemplo, un nivel de adecuada protección del aditivo o un límite máximo de residuo. Estas recomendaciones parten de estos comités de expertos que coordina y prepara y capacita FAO. O sea que en el tema de la parte de inocuidad de alimentos. Después hay otras cantidad de divisiones que tratan la parte de nutrición, otras que tratan la parte de seguridad alimentaria, como hacía Programa Mundial de Alimentación, de llevar alimentos a los países carenciados. O sea, hay muchos aspectos, hay aspectos en la parte de agricultura biológica, de biotecnología, o sea que tienen que ver con alimentos, toda la parte específica de programas integrados de producción. O sea, es muy difícil, es un programa enorme, es la agencia precisamente que abarca el tema de alimentos y agricultura. Así que imagínense, inocuidad es una división y un aspecto importante, pero hay muchísimos más.
Muchas gracias. Una pregunta para el doctor Carlos Caballero. De acuerdo con la protección de los consumidores y clientes, pero esto solo se cumple desde las empresas formales. La pregunta es, ¿qué están haciendo las autoridades sanitarias con respecto a las empresas informales?
Bien, como se ha visto a lo largo de las 3 presentaciones de esta primera jornada, el tema de inocuidad de los alimentos es una responsabilidad compartida. Es una responsabilidad compartida entre las autoridades regulatorias, entre la industria y los consumidores. Las asociaciones de consumidores son pieza clave en este rol. Ellas son las que organizadamente pueden interactuar de una manera más estrecha con los organismos reguladores para poder establecer mecanismos de formalización de aquellas empresas que forman parte de la industria alimentaria no formal. Esto es una labor que no solo le compete a las autoridades regulatorias, sino también es una labor del Estado en general. Es una labor que estoy seguro muchos de los países están en ese enfoque, el Perú no es ajeno a ello. Sabemos pues que el sector informal de alimentos es grande, pero el Estado peruano y las autoridades regulatorias en el tema de inocuidad de los alimentos están empeñadas en poder, de una manera paulatina y a través de fases y participando todos los actores, poder lograr que se formalice esto pues, en un periodo de tiempo razonable, ¿no?
Muchas gracias. Entonces, una pregunta para todos los miembros de este panel. ¿Creen que estamos caminando para lograr en el futuro tener todos, o al menos la mayoría de los países, un único estándar, o esto es un sueño todavía? Podemos comenzar tal vez con el doctor Roger Bont y a continuación con la doctora Piñeiro y el doctor Caballero al final.
Sure. Bueno, as it relates to GFSI, our belief is that there are multiple standards, but the audit schemes must meet the minimum requirements of the GFSI guidance document. There are different ways to ensure food safety, and with that perspective, that is why GFSI benchmarks various audit schemes and has the belief that multiple schemes can deliver the same result.
Doctora.
Bueno, una cosa es, a nuestro entender, lo que son un sistema de control, que puede haber distintos sistemas que lleguen al mismo nivel de protección. Y otra cosa es una norma que se ha acordado a nivel internacional por todos los países y que es la referencia de la OMC. A nuestro entender, tiene que ser la norma universal. Que haya después esquemas privados o normas privadas que obedezcan a temas de calidad u otros temas puntuales que pasen por otro lado, eso es la libertad del comprador y el vendedor. Pero que se hagan normas privadas que cambien lo que se ha acordado a nivel internacional basado en la ciencia, eso no parecería el camino más adecuado. Entonces, bueno, si vamos a trabajar en órbitas paralelas en temas diferentes, como pueden ser los de calidad u otros aspectos que no están cubiertos por el Códex, es una cosa, pero si vamos a repetir y cambiar lo que se ha acordado a nivel internacional, ¿y qué es la referencia? Pues si ustedes van a un litigio, lo van a resolver con la norma Códex, entonces parecería una pérdida. Entonces, o se trabaja en conjunto, mejorando o entrando dentro del proceso de armonización internacional, que es lo ideal, pero como yo les mostré, no solo están los países, sino todas las organizaciones privadas y observadores e industrias, parecería ser lo adecuado. Ahora, no todas las normas van a ser consensuadas a nivel internacional. Va siempre a haber el ámbito privado de especificación de compra entre comprador y vendedor. Entonces, no hay que confundir, creo yo, los ámbitos.
Bueno, sí, coincido plenamente con la doctora Piñeiro. Es por eso que el Estado peruano, cuando estructuró y diseñó toda la normativa en el tema de inocuidad de los alimentos, se basó en las normas de referencia del Códex Alimentarios, ¿no? Se soporta también en los autocontroles de la industria privada, eso es innegable, pero vemos al Códex como el gran referente, participamos en la medida de las posibilidades y cada vez esto va creciendo más como país en todas las comisiones del Códex a nivel mundial. Participamos también en la comisión del Códex cuando se reúne, bien sea en Ginebra o en Roma, pero también somos conscientes que constantemente y de forma ya recurrente existen una serie de normas privadas mucho más exigentes que las mismas normas nacionales en el tema de control de alimentos, pero no debe de confundirse el tema comercial con el tema regulatorio por las autoridades, que está basada en ciencia, que está basada en análisis de riesgo y tiene como objetivo fundamental proteger la salud de los consumidores.
If I could just add, all of the GFSI recognized schemes are also based on Codex, which is very fundamental to the GFSI mission.
Muchas gracias a todos. Tenemos un excelente número de preguntas, vamos a tratar de responderlas todas fuera del panel. Si podemos, por favor, pasar a proyectar la primera pregunta del sondeo de opinión para luego proceder a la votación. Bien, en la comercialización de alimentos es importante garantizar la inocuidad porque, opción 1, genera confianza en los clientes, 2, mejora la imagen del país, 3, accedemos a mercados más exigentes, 4, garantizamos la salud del consumidor. Por favor, marquen la opción que consideren más importante. La opción preferida por el 92% de la sala considera que la comercialización de alimentos es importante, la inocuidad, garantizar la inocuidad de los alimentos es importante debido a un aspecto de salud del consumidor. 4% considera que se debe a generación de confianza, apenas un 2% de la sala en relación a la mejora de la imagen del país y un 3% en relación a acceso a mercados. Vamos con la segunda, por favor. Nuestro país enfrenta desafíos para avanzar en el logro de la seguridad de los alimentos, en términos de inocuidad, y el desarrollo primario de alimentos. Por esa razón, ¿considera usted que es importante? Opción 1, actualizar conocimiento en normas peruanas. Opción 2, actualizar conocimiento en normas internacionales. Opción 3, intercambiar conocimientos con instituciones internacionales. Opción 4, intercambiar conocimiento con instituciones académicas. Su opinión, por favor. Muy bien, las respuestas de la sala, un 11% considera que se debe actualizar conocimiento en normas peruanas, un 24% de la sala con respecto a actualización de conocimiento en cuanto a normas internacionales, un 61% considera que es preciso intercambiar conocimiento con instituciones internacionales y un 3% considera que es necesario intercambiar conocimiento con instituciones académicas. Esos son los resultados de este primer set de preguntas. Les agradecemos a todos por su atención en este panel. Los invito a compartir un café ahora y retornar a la sala en unos instantes más para continuar. Muchas gracias.